Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. It is September the 19th, and we all have a question, and I'm pretty sure it's the same question. Just a heads up, I am trying a new miking system in the hopes that it will resolve any, problems in terms of hearing me, etc. So please let me know if it's working, especially those people who have mentioned in the past that if they've had trouble hearing me. Secondly, for any of my Canadian viewers who have not yet seen, I uploaded earlier a video on Canadian politics focusing on Andrew Scheer. So if you're interested, it should be literally the video before this video. Okay, so come on down. Let's ask the question. I mean, this whole whistleblower thing, it's really interesting, and it's just astounding how many laws they're breaking, how many protocols, and what the government is finding out that some of those things that they just thought were beyond reproach were traditions. They weren't laws. And because they weren't laws, they can be twisted to, suit somebody's agenda. Okay, so here we go. Here's the question. The whistleblower and Trump. The whistleblower and Trump. The whistleblower and Trump. Well, alrighty then. This is not going to turn out well for Trump, and it's not going to reflect well on the GOP. There was, and we know this from the news, I'm not saying something brilliant. We know that there was some sort of a promise made to a foreign government during a phone call. Now, Trump views everything as, the art of the deal, right? I mean, that's his perception, right? So when he's promising things, first of all, he's only about, kind of interested in actually fulfilling the promise. So he promises whatever to serve him in the moment. And that appears to be what is going on here, except that whatever he promised, he should not have. And honestly, I got to tell you, I don't think that whatever he promised is about the United States government as much as it is to benefit Trump's pocket, okay? So whatever he promised is going to be in consideration of Trump and Trump's businesses, as opposed to in consideration of the U.S., government, okay? So he thought it was brilliant, and of course, he's backtracking and trying to, I didn't know, and I didn't say anything, and yak. But he did know, and what we know he knew is the fact that this was going to benefit him. This was something he wanted. The judgment over this is going to be really, really difficult for him to push back on, because it just feels as if this might have been a bridge too far. They're trying too hard to cover it up. Now, the interesting thing I heard on the news yesterday was that the whistleblower can actually go to the intelligence committees in both the Senate and the House and give them that material, whatever he has or she has. They can give it to those two committees. They can give it to those committees directly. So if the, DNI is not doing what they are supposed to do, there actually is another way for the whistleblower to get that information to those committees. And Of course, the Senate committee is going to be completely disinterested in doing anything, and the House committee is going to be the one who is again pursuing it. So whatever this is about, this whistleblower situation, it is about group works, it is about dark money, it is about, you know, 1, 2, 3 partners kind of in a grouping. It's about thievery, okay? It is about stealing from the Americans and giving it away for his own benefit. I mean, this is dangerous to the American public and beneficial to Trump is kind of the way to say it, because security is being weakened and promises that cannot be kept are being made to people who expect promises to be kept. I do not know which government it is, or which leader he spoke to, but when I ask energetically, I'm getting Saudi Arabia and Russia. So either or both, but those are the countries that energetically I'm feeling. One of them was where he made that promise, okay? And beyond that, I'm not getting any more clarity on that right now. This is going to be the problem. Trump, as usual, is going to double down, and he has so many blatant and obvious obstruction of justices going on that it's going to bleed through. It infuriates those of us who are paying attention, but the vast majority of people are not paying attention yet. But this kind of stuff is going to start bleeding through kind of the noise of people's lives, and they're going to start focusing in. It's the time where, you know, Americans start focusing in. It's after Labor Day, and so, you know, you're moving forward kind of with that election feeling. Okay, so right now they are trying to use, meaning the Department of Justice, William Barr, Trump, right? They are trying to twist and turn the law to their favor because they want to hang on to this secret. They do not want it let out. And guess what? They are destined for disappointment on this. It is not going to work. One way or another, this information is coming out. And I want to suggest it's coming out sooner rather than later because this whistleblower is flat concerned. I mean, it was the Inspector General was the one who said it was urgent. What was it? Urgent and critical. So it's not going to stay hidden. It can't stay hidden. And there is going to be, there's going to actually be some people who fall over this or whose reputation is so completely damaged that even they recognize the writing is on the wall for them, okay? I'm literally taking this card almost literally, okay? There are going to be people who are stabbed in the back, and there are going to be people who are just removed, eliminated. So whatever this is, it's sort of kind of interesting. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to spread out the cards again, and I want to see if we can get any more information on the whistleblower and or the information that was heard during that phone call that so concerned this member of the intelligence department to actually think, oh my God, I have to let people know that this is what is going on. I mean, this is not minor, okay? So let's give these cards another shuffle and see what we can see. All right. Whistleblower information, whistleblower information, whistleblower information. Well, okay, so whatever it was that the whistleblower heard, whatever took place during that phone call, it alarmed him. Okay, he reacted almost emotionally, like on a visceral level, because it wasn't just that he was kind of crossing a line; it was like he jumped over the line, and whatever it is, greatly concerned this person. There is sort of an attitude among not the high-ranking officials in the intelligence agencies and the FBI and all those places, but there's kind of an attitude or a feeling of we have to do everything we can to kind of steer this ship straight, because we're fast getting to a point where we're starting to realize and recognize that our higher-ups cannot protect us. And, you know, we have to do what we can. So you have what you have basically is a lot of very vigilant and dedicated people, excuse me, who are working in the intelligence field of the United States. And they're very mindful about the dangers. And part of the reason they have to be so mindful about the dangers, of course, is because Trump is oblivious to them. All he sees are dollar signs. That's all he wants to worry about. And so he doesn't care about what might happen as a result. He has no way to sort of understand the ramifications of what he says and does. Yeah. And there's Trump. So what you have here is irrational sort of excuse me, sorry, kind of promises that were made, very vague, kind of will this and that, but all of it is connected to Trump's business as near as I can read the energy here. So this is, you know, somebody saying, you know, you make this happen and we'll make sure that there is a Trump tower built in wherever. Okay, it's that kind of back and forth, I believe. This is showing literally Trump retreating and the GOP retreating, and serious investigations from the Senate retreating. And they're going to try to silence this, and it's not going to work because, frankly, it's too volcanic. This is not something that they're going to be able to hide for very long. And it doesn't matter how they try to spin it or move it off the plate, or right, that is going to, it's still going to stay front and center because it's just too serious not to. And interesting, just a sort of a weird aside, isn't it interesting that all of a sudden, kind of not out of the blue, but he really ramped up his whole fight against everything with California? I mean, he vetoed the some sort of emissions protection that that California wanted or needed or was implementing. But the timing is just super interesting to me, right? Because it's like he knew this was coming. They were made aware of it. And being made aware of it, did he create another distraction to cause us to look elsewhere, to get upset about another inhumane and stupid behavior of his? You bet he did. You bet he did. So, What can we expect? What can we expect? What can we expect? Okay, well, the White House is going to do their level best to try to keep everyone off balance. People not knowing kind of what's happening, what's going to be released, when it is, who will talk, who won't talk. And that kind of imbalance is going to continue in a really forceful way. I mean, it's not dissimilar to what happened, with Corey Lewandowski, right? It was the same sort of situation where you can see Trump's footprints and fingerprints all over these serious and significant pushbacks, claiming privileges that don't exist, all of this kind of nonsense. And again, part of that is because he is determined to distract from this, because I think even on some level, he recognizes and understands this could have been a bridge too far, and it might actually jeopardize his standing with the GOP. Because at some point, there's going to be something that they simply cannot tolerate and are going to have to react. Apparently it is not, opioids, and apparently it is not gun legislation, and apparently it is not the environment, but there will be something somewhere along the line that make them go, okay, wait a minute, we got to pull him back, because this is getting like, it's just bad. It just looks bad, it feels bad, and it's not serving us being the GOP, the way, it should or we would like it to. So, what we can expect is, kind of more cover-ups, more trying to dodge the bullet, and that's going to be what goes on in the immediate few days. There's going to be we're just going to push forward and we're not going to talk about this. And the other side of the equation is saying, we are digging so deep on this, we're to the other side of the planet already, because we need to find out what is going on. And again, it is going to be investigative journalists who actually get the bulk of the information out to the citizens. It's, they're fighting a fight that they are not going to win. Okay, they're just not. Okay, so super interesting. We have the 5 of Swords, we have the 7 of Swords, and we have the 9 of Swords. Now, I'm going to date myself. When I was getting ready to do this video, and I was thinking about Trump and sort of tapping into that energy, I started hearing this song playing over and over in my head. And I'm really dating myself. I think this went back to the 60s, probably early 60s. I do not remember the name of the artist who recorded this, but the song was called It's My Party. And so what I was hearing was, it's my party and I'll cry if I want to. Cry if I want to. You would cry too if it happened to you. And this was the card that I was seeing flashing in my head as I was hearing the lyrics of those songs. So this clearly represents Trump. He knows he's screwed. He feels so abused and picked on, because this is really the first time in his life that everybody hasn't kissed his butt or backed down. And so he doesn't honestly know how to handle this, except like a tantrum where he sits in the corner and clenches his fist and says, no, I will not. No, he has no skill set to handle this. And that in part is going to be how things, come out. Let's not forget, when Trump is sort of really guilty about something and he starts talking about it, he will often accuse somebody else of the very same behavior. So we should be watching out for that in the next few days. But this is causing him actually some significant worry. And he realizes that he can't throw enough money around to actually make it stop, because he cannot throw the money to any of the Democrats And they're the ones, you know, who have control over this, or ultimately will have control over this. So that's interesting. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we just have swords coming at him in every single direction. We've got the Six of Swords, the Five of Swords, the Six, Seven of Swords, the Eight of Swords, the Nine of Swords, all in a tight configuration. So there's going to be problems with this. There's going to be truths that come out. There's going to be a lot of verbal spinning. And ultimately, in the end, the truth has got to come out because justice needs to be served. And so understand this. The things that are going on kind of behind the scenes and we don't know about, we're not paying attention to, you know, all of the things that have been rolled back, all of the shenanigans, they are being kept track of, okay? It's not like these things are happening in a vacuum and nobody knows that, you know, this regulation got rolled back or this person is defying a subpoena. All of this stuff is being tracked, and there will be the ability to start correcting things and strengthening things that everybody thought was strong. And once, you know, there's going to be a significant amount of cleanup and almost like restructuring done within some of these government agencies because they have been so badly detonated, and you've lost so many experienced people. So super, super important. Keep straight in your head that this can be corrected. You have every opportunity to correct it and put yourselves back on more of an even footing. Again, do not forget, I keep telling you this, it's not going to happen overnight. There is so much cleanup that needs to be done. So that's going to take a little bit of, you know, a little bit of hard work and a little bit of time. I'm just going to cut the deck one more time. Okay. Rarely do I show this as the GOP, but I'm showing this card today. I'm feeling this card as the GOP. And they're trying very, very hard to hang on to what they have, what they know, what they can control. But these three figures are not part of the Trump administration. This is the success of the whistleblower getting the information out so that people can start figuring out how to safeguard against whatever promise he made. Ultimately, the whistleblower will prevail. Okay, so that's what I have about that their situation between Trump and the whistleblower. I hope I've been able to shed some light on it for you. And I just have one request. Yesterday, when I released the reading of the lower numbered candidates for president, and I said that I, you know, would probably start doing in-depth readings in about June, and somebody very nicely reached out to me and said, but by June we'll already have the nominee. It's, see, I have trouble with the way you drag out your system. So I thank you for that. And if somebody could just please send me kind of a breakdown of, because I know there's these caucuses that go on, right? So I'm wanting a breakdown of when, you know, when the caucuses are, and if, you know, if there's, so I can start narrowing down who I want to be reading on earlier, because obviously leaving it until later was not serving any purpose. So thank you for that. And I think that's all for now. Until next time, take care, be well, and I'll see you soon. Bye.